Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the League Zero Novice Semifinals on this fine Saturday, December 12th. I'm Corbeck, joined here in the production booth by Abraxas with the wonderful Pendy handling our production for the day as we bring you an exciting matchup between Geometric and the Edinburgh Monarchs. Now, Abraxas, I feel like you know far more about these two teams than I do, so I'm going to let you go ahead and lay us the groundwork for what we should expect from today's match.
Yeah, I feel like this would be a pretty exciting game if both teams play strong. Geometric is starting at number 2, and Monarchs are sitting at number 3 in the rankings. Monarchs looked insanely strong to start the season off with their Shadow Dive comps, but slowly as the meta has sort of shifted away from it, Monarchs kind of look pretty confused. They're not really playing their main carry DPS and RQT and Youngsu. I mean, they were just a powerhouse. Now they're empty. They're going for more of empty. Who they're forcing this Torb. I don't feel like Torb is getting as much value as they would like him to be getting. Empty is a phenomenal Torb. I just feel like the comps they're running, they're not comfortable on compared to Geometric, who are just playing extra. They're just playing to their strengths. Like they're playing to pocket SD Awesome. They're playing to enable Flank Yada. They're playing to enable Prince Zexu. And I feel like the gap between them and Monarchs is great. And if Monarchs can come out playing comps that they look comfortable on, like the Rhine Diva, and they don't try to force anything that's off meta or doesn't work, then they should be fine. But they have a habit of doing that, and they looked insanely weak in some of their games, like against Wisdom Academy. That was just an absolute blowout. They didn't know how to play against Pharah. They were forcing Torb too much when he just wasn't getting the value they wanted. So I feel like if they can play to their strengths and they can play to shut down SD Awesome on Geometric, then they could take maps. They could actually win this series if they play smart. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think when I casted their game last week against the Seattle Battle Cattle, and they did indeed run a lot of empty on Torbjorn, which was working, but against perhaps an opponent that's better able to sort of suss out those Torbjorn strategies might not be quite as effective. And of course, I mean, we can't really talk about these matches today, or I guess the matches yesterday, without talking kind of about the changes that may have come down from the patch notes. Ryan is in a much stronger place today than he was two days ago. We'll see, I guess, if he kind of makes a resurgence. Prince Zexu, I think, does favor the Rhine, correct? Or has favored the Rhine in the past.
Prince Zexu is probably one of the better Rhines in Novice. So if they can play him and play to enable him, they should really just stomp this meta. It's looking like their meta to win.
Yeah. I mean, he is a bit of a truck right now, all things considered, with his armor boost and his damage boost and everything else they've thrown into him. But, I mean, maybe a slight from Double Shield. I've seen some, higher tier players talking about whether or not we can see really the shift from Double Shield over to Brawl, but neither of those teams really looking to engage in that right now. What do you make of these comps?
I sort of expected this comp coming out from Geo. Rim Jazzberries is probably the only ball one trick currently in Novice. I mean, he's not that good at Wrecking Ball, but I mean, he gets the job done. And this is the SIG Wrecking Ball is just a comp you're seeing a lot because it's a lot of displacement. It's a lot of poke, and I feel like it's really good. And if these teams can play it effectively, I feel like SD Awesome's Echo is going to just destroy RQT's Pharah. Echo is just such a strong hero in the Pharah 1v1.
Very much so, and a different, almost a mirror comp, a slightly different choice and varieties here of those two flying heroes, as you said, but an initial awesome crush by Merlin to start things off. Valerie getting in on the action as well. Of course, the res will come in right away from Wooly, but Valerie not slowing down, actually picks off Zexu as well. So an early surge here from the Monarchs, really putting the boot into them, and Valerie picks up yet another kill.
That was just really clean from Merlin, picking off SD Awesome, and almost sort of shut down their push before it could even really start. Valerie's Zenyatta looked really clean that fight. He was getting the headshots and he was getting the picks he needed to win his team the fight, and it's looking like Flank Yada is being almost outclassed in the Zenyatta.
We'll try to go back through again. Early drop there from Merlin, just trying to get a little bit of damage off the bounce. Valerie taking a lot of hits right there. Had the Discord as well, but now Zexu feeling the pressure on the front line for Geometric. The early kill on Awesome again. This time it's RQT who takes down the Echo and continues to pressure here with that Pharah. Wooly swinging at a target in the air there on the Brigitte, trying to get something in, can't quite make it. They'll back up a little bit here though. There's not a lot of choice but to give them some room. Oh, Valerie has to force the Transcendence there from Rim Jazzberry, but they'll turn that into a kill on Zexu. Jazzberry actually hanging in the back there. I think that should be the end of this particular fight.
Yeah, that was Valerie getting forced out that trans. That might really put a wrench in their plans if because Prince Zexu is getting really close to this this Sig Flux. But what I don't like how Geo are running this comp. Like they EDM just looks so much more practiced on it compared to Geo. I don't know what's going on.
It's been a slow buildup of tank ultimates too, but actually right as I say that, Rim Jazzberry finally pops the minefield. Merlin gets one off as well, trying to block the entrance. A solid minefield between those two pillars. Merlin actually gets 2 in the back line. Make it 3. He takes out both supports and the McCree. Oh, and there were 2 stuns in there as well. That should have stopped him, Abraxas. Terrible stuff.
Merlin is so good at displacing and getting these pile drives. It's almost like Geo want to play to punish him, but they just don't know how to. Like, he's just getting away with so much right now, and it's really hard for them to do anything about it. Rim can't even touch the point.
High Noon coming out here. Rim is taken out of action almost immediately. High Noon does get 2. Pasty trying to turn this around 1 for his team, but Valerie right there will get the kill on the backside. Awesome, trades it out. They continue to go here. Sigma taking a lot of pressure. That'll be Zexu getting the kill on his opposite number. And you might finally be seeing a flip for Geometric here at the bitter end.
Yeah, that was a really sloppy fight from honestly both teams. It looked like RQT could save it there at the end with the Pharah, but it didn't matter. Honestly, looking at the ult economy, it's looking like this next fight should be all Geo if they play it smart. Because I mean, Edinburgh have nothing. Valerie's coming up on that trans, but he's getting desperately low. But that pick might do it.
Jazzberry taken out early on. Now the pressure coming in. RQT flying out to the flank, just trying to get some shots in. Merlin does go down. No ball for either team right now as the Transcendence comes out early on from Valerie. That'll take Flank Yada out of the fight. We won't be seeing any more Discord over here. RQT getting another one. Both supports now down for Geometric. It's up to Zexu and Awesome with a little bit of help from Passy as well. But no, okay, here's some assistance coming in on the outside. Oh, it won't be enough, though. Merlin's got that minefield, drops it in. Rim Jazzberry can't do anything. The big ball stuck there amongst a field of smaller, more explosive balls will finally go down. You see a desperate touch, I think, from Wooly on that Lucio. Not going to be enough. Merlin with another minefield kill. And wow, talk about some magic there on that ball. Merlin the Magician showing off some skills.
Score 0-1.
Pause.
Ready for battle.
Can I unpause?
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, just working through some production issues there, as is necessary, and we'll unpause here going in. But man, what a map from Merlin right there, Braxis. That was some actually quite impressive ball play, all things considered.
Yeah, with the comp they were running, you honestly want to favor the Pharah, and RQT's Pharah is almost deadly. The way he was just shutting down SD Awesome. Generally in the Pharah versus Echo matchup, you generally see the Echo winning because Echo just has so much burst damage. If you hit stickies on her, that's it. Pharah's dead. But RQT was just hitting those direct rockets, and Merlin was just doing so much displacement. It was almost perfect because he would knock them out, and he would knock them up, and then RQT would just finish them off. Yeah. It was really good, cohesive play coming out from Edinburgh. They looked really good.
It did indeed. Well, now teleporters on both sides here, so they'll arrive at just about the same time in front of the door. Jazzberry getting a couple of swings in there. Merlin trading out as well. 2 variations on the double shield, but it's Pasty who will go down first. Caught out by Vespa King. Merlin getting in on the action as well, proving he can get kills on the Reinhardt too. And Jazzberry trying to get in for a sneaky charge. We'll find nothing.
When you're running a comp like this, especially on this point of Nepal, the Mei pick is way better than the Reaper because Mei can just wall them off.
Yeah.
Let's say Rim wants to go in and be aggressive on Merlin. Well, guess what? RQT just walls them off and they punish him, especially with the microwave. So they're already struggling to get in point because of the Symmetra turrets, and then the Mei wall just displaces them or splits them up. So the comp they're running is superior to Geo's, and while the Orisa can definitely stop and prevent that, it's just the Mei is just such a good character.
Well, there's the wall again. The entire team clustered up, trying to get out like a bunch of shoppers on Black Friday, if I'm being honest, stuck in a corner, but they couldn't quite make it work. Dragon getting some kills. Now they're starting to trade back and forth here, though. Awesome, Flankiana, Rim, Jazzberry all appearing in the kill feed. Awesome cooking away with that beam. Actually might manage to turn this around, and sure, awesome with 4. Why not? Prince Xu finishing off at the end.
SD Awesome carrying as usual, but one thing that's interesting is Pasty is only over a little bit over a quarter of his way to his Death Blossom, which is not really that good, especially with the comp they're running. They need to be playing to enable him and SD Awesome, but the only way he can really counter Edinburgh's comp is if by flanking, and that's really hard to do that, especially against a Mei, because Mei can just punish them.
Yeah, Jazberry does have an ult though. I mean, I guess they could use that slam, but it'll be a Gravitic that starts things off here. It's a big Gravitic as well. Immortality Field and a Blizzard coming in here. 2 on top of all of that. Pasty on the outside's destroyed. That kill feed lights up red as the entirety of the Edinburgh Monarchs just pour onto that point. Abraxas, that was a bit brutal actually, if I'm being honest.
That was pretty much a mop for Edinburgh. And Vespa King's Sigflux opened that up, because, I mean, that drops them instantly all to half health, and then the rest of the team just rushed it. And that's pretty good. Pretty questionable charge from Rim. I understand what he was doing, but it really wasn't the best thing he could have done, especially after he just got the shatter off. And
Ooh, that Maywall comes again. Oh, it's a good Maywall, but they will get the Immortality Field in. Awesome's able to turn that into a kill on Valerie. Rim is frozen there in the front line, but the Reinhardt will just push forward through that Symmetra shield. The Sound Barrier coming out here as well. A Shatter thrown petulantly into the other side. Won't get anything from Merlin. Now the Counter Barrier coming out. Again, the Maywall comes up, but it's not as divisive this time. Jazberry popping off there. Jazberry with 3. Pasty with the key support there on the Reaper.
SD Awesome just throwing down that wall and Rim just using it. He just walked into them, and it almost looked like Monarchs were sort of confused. Rim just literally pressed W key. He just Chad Rhined them, and it won them the point. And that's really how you do be playing Ryan against a comp like this. But he has the shatter.
Never seen bigger, let me tell you. With that little bit of damage buff.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit it right, he can actually like one-shot a squishy. It's crazy how strong he is.
Charging in now, well, they'll use that Blizzard to initiate. It's a great shatter actually from Jazberry, but it might not be enough. Pasty in the back tries to get the Death Blossom off. Almost all of it is consumed by Vespa King, who's flush with shields right now as he begins to escort his team forward. But Vespa King not able to protect the rest of them. Like Yada and Rim, Jazberry again. Jazberry holding this doorway, just swinging away with the hammer, and Vespa King's just fleeing in front of him.
Very questionable flux from Vespa King. I know he wanted to save the point, but in a situation like that, he was almost better off waiting for his team to get back.
Immortality Field so early. Oh no, Immortality Field's out from both sides. Actually, the pressure does start to come in just a little bit, but really it's just Dragon dancing across the front of the point. We've got a Diva in now. Vespa King trying to hold this one together with the help of the team. Only 2 bodies on point to 6. Xu will go down, but no, the kills are starting to fly in. Great shatter from Jazberry in the midst of everything as well. Really just a melee on the point, but a melee that's not looking particularly good for the Monarchs.
Rim just showed up on point, and Monarchs really just couldn't move him. He was just getting hard pocketed, and he was popping off. The new Ryan is crazy good, and Rim is showing why. I mean, he just showed up, and that was the end of it for them. Yeah, as soon as he got planted on point, that was it. Yeah,
he did kind of just... There was that moment there where he just kind of stood in one of the doorways and just swung the hammer and just didn't die. It's kind of scary. It's actually kind of scary. I mean, it's good if you're a Ryan player, I guess. For the rest of us mortals, though.
Empty coming out on the Torb again.
Well,
Empty loves the Torb.
He does love the Torb. I mean, I saw him use it really effectively, but last week. But I mean, that was against the Seattle Battle Cattle. No knock to them, obviously, but you know. It may be a little bit different caliber, perhaps, than Geometric.
I definitely prefer Geo's comp on this point. It's way more pokey, and since this is a really, just, everyone is... Well, against Monarch's comp, Monarchs are wanting to play extremely, together, almost, and I feel like Geo's comp, it can help shut them down a little bit.
We'll see just how much they can shut them down. Awesome gets that early pick onto Valerie. Pays for it with their life, but it's a trade perhaps you'd be willing to take. That one, not so much. Xu goes down early on. The Sigma can't stand the pressure. Merlin actually getting a pole kill in there as well. That's something. Don't see that every day.
It was looking up for Geo with that early pick, and then RQT just was like, nah, it doesn't really matter to me. Now it's the end of it for him.
Didn't really matter. Yeah, it just picks off the Sigma. Unfortunately, I think that Sigma, does have to play a little off on this comp, Abraxas. It makes it a little bit harder for the Sigma player. Jazzberry rolled in there, got a goodly amount of damage on the backside of that, but not enough to really put anyone into the grave. Wow, Jazzberry with 2! Trades his life for big kills there, though. A noble sacrifice, and you see him type in the chat worth. That's quite good.
Rim Jasper, more like Rim Chadberry. He sacrificed his life for the points. Like,
he did. Because just the minute, the minute he did that, Abraxas is over, right? It's just cleanup phase at that point in time. He kind of broke the back of all of that.
well, especially like since he got two people, but it also cost his life. It almost kind of evens out in a sense, or it gives Geo a player advantage. But now, since that opened the point up for them, Geo are just going to sit here, and Geo really can just play split, and they can play to their strengths, and they can just poke, because, I mean, Monarchs have to sort of force their way over to Geo. That's the only way they really win.
Chalky minefield there to start. Bob actually gets thrown in the back line too, and that's going to split off both Empty and Valerie. They actually can't come up to the rest of the team. Finally, they will get that Bob out of the action. Empty will push forward on that Torbjorn. RQT, the early casualty there during that split. Now they'll take Empty out of it as well. Not looking particularly good here for the Monarchs. Monarchs struggling just a little bit. That Valkyrie coming far too late from Dragon, trying to keep the team alive. Dragon, I think, actually whipped out the blaster there for a half second. Not really enough. Did actually manage to get RQT back in the fight here, but they are being held at the door. That Gravitic Flux coming out as well. It's a good Flux. Gets to Vespa and Merlin. Burned out of it. Slammed into the ground. Absolutely destroyed, and they will hold these doors.
One thing I noticed Vespa King does a lot is he almost goes off on like these little off angles and finds himself getting isolated really easily by Geo. And while it's not that necessarily bad of a thing to do, especially with the comp they're playing, I feel like it's not really getting him the value he wants because he gets pressured back and they're forced to pop ults to save him.
Well, the minefield comes out, as does the high noon. Jazzberry gets 2. He gets Dragon and RQT, who gets slung backwards into a mine by the slam. The rest of the team there inspired by Rim Chadberry, as you put right there. We'll go ahead and just clean up these kills, and I think that should signal an end to this match. Definitely does when RQT just gets wasted on the way in.
Okay, Rim warmed up. That first round, he was looking not the same wrecking ball as Merlin. He was looking almost like he was lagging behind. But that last round was just all Rim. That was just the Rim show. He was just having fun, enabling his DPS to get bigs. He was playing extremely well there.
Yeah, pretty much, like, actually excellent ball play from both the ball players, but definitely after that first map, Rim kind of ran away with it, literally and figuratively, if we're being honest. What was it? I mean, Monarchs putting up a fight there, but looking a little bit rougher on that last map for sure.
Monarchs looked... They were almost getting... How do I word it? They were being staggered. Actually, I wouldn't even say they were being staggered. They had a few good, clean team fights. But the issue is, Rim was just showing up.
Yeah.
You know, Rim was just, okay, that's fine. And Monarchs choose King's Row.
Unsurprising, perhaps, all things considered. We will be taking a trip to King's Row. Almost unavoidable when King's Row is in a map pool to not get a trip there, but here we are. I mean, first point is actually not bad for Torbjorn if that's what Empty wants to do. Second point, not so much. Third, sure, shoehorn the Torbjorn in. Definitely can make it happen. But a fair coming out here.
Oh, we'll definitely see Ryan play, but the question is will they prefer to favor the Reinhardt with the Sigma? Because I know Vespa King and Rim Jazzberry both have very good Sigmas. So it really just comes down to that. Or will they favor the more traditional Zarya, which Zarya can enable Reinhardt a little bit more, but I feel like in the current state of the meta, Sigma is just the better pick with Ryan.
Actually, I think that is that's a hard debate to make, right? Especially with the change to the Reinhardt, the addition of the Zarya bubble is just going to make him like, oh my gosh, he's going to be more sustainable than he already is, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest and admit to this gap in my knowledge, but I sort of struggle to wrap my head around Sigma Ryan comps because I'm not exactly sure what Sigma is supposed to do.
I mean, Sigma's just he's just a good
I mean, he was good.
Off
Yeah.
tank. I feel
Yeah.
like Sigma in the Rhine Sig, he almost works like in the Arigma. He
Yeah.
just helps the Rhine rotate. Like in Orisa Rhine, you almost play, or with the Orisa Rhine, Rhine almost acts as like the off tank
Yeah.
because he sort of
Exactly.
helps enable rotations and he can be more brawly. And I feel like Sigma, like Zarya is good here. Don't get me wrong, Zarya is an amazing pick with Rhine. I feel like Zarya isn't nearly as good as she could be because of the fact that double shield is so prevalent. Because you'll be spending more time on Zarya shooting shields than you are shooting people. And with the Rhine Sig, Rhine can just walk into them. And there's not really much else they can do. Sigma can shield him, Sigma can eat. I feel like Sigma is just the superior off tank to every off tank in the current meta because he's just so versatile. He has the shield to take fights. He has the eat to prevent damage. He has the rock to stop flankers. He's literally just an amazing hero that I feel like he needs a really soft nerf before they can really move Diva back into meta and same with Zarya.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I guess the argument would be maybe he just lacks a little bit of mobility, but it's easily overcome. I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. He is a very solid hero. I think probably we'll see the Sigma come out. They seem to favor him on the previous maps. I would be surprised if we saw a significant change in that.
I hope we see Zarya.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Zarya, definitely, but I mean, you make a very good point about the double shield as well. It's already hard for a Brawl comp to kind of close that distance with the double shield, even with these Rhine changes. And you can see already we're being offered the double shield on one side and the Zarya on the other.
Double shield is just so good because they can act as a brawl or they can act as a poke. If you decide to brawl with double shield, they can just walk into you, and there's not a whole lot you can do because Orisa Sigma just complement each other really well. And if you want to play a poke, that's also amazing because they're the shields to keep to keep you safe, and you can play from a distance, and you can't really be punished hard. So I feel like either way you put it, Orisa Sigma is just a superior comp to everything in the game because of how versatile it can be at points.
Oop. Pause.
Okay.
All right.
Defend objective.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting started here on King's Row. The pressure coming forward into this double shield geometric on the high ground. Traditional double shield hold position right there. Shots coming in from Awesome on that Hanzo. Ooh, scary moment there. I think the barrier nearly got destroyed. Might have actually been entirely destroyed. Now they're faced with a rather unenviable prospect of charging straight down a narrow alleyway into a bunch of bullets. There is the charge. Merlin's charge, a compliment to Pickett's charge, doesn't actually make the jump there. Now they're just going to continue to try and divest them. Nope, never mind. They're going down and around, and this is turning into quite the little odyssey here for Edinburgh Monarchs. Finally, they'll back up to the high ground, and they drop down to the point again. And now they kind of have to play up underneath here. Maybe try and take off some of the pressure coming from the top rim. Jazzberry actually just going to drop straight down, literally on top of Empty's head. An Assassin's Creed-esque murder there of the McCree, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. Merlin swinging away with the hammer and a great ice wall to cap things off there, actually, by RQT.
I do not know what Gio was thinking. They sent Prince Zexu and Wooly on the low ground, and Edinburgh they just noticed that. They were like, okay, there's these two guys, they're totally separated from their team, and they just barreled on through, because without the Orisa and the rest of the comp, it's pretty hard to stand your ground as a lone Sig and a lone Bat. And that really just opened the point up for them.
Yeah, especially when you're getting, this rush down kind of composition that we're looking at right there. Flankiata, playing a bit fast and loose right there. Does manage to get to cover. Now they're just trying to rotate this double shield up to another high ground position. Still playing very split though. Jazzberry gets that pull out, can't quite make something come from it. Merlin more than happy to continue to push the card. Vespa King actually surges forward there. A little bit of a speed boost comes in. Coalescence now, Maywall up. Oh, and again! Oh, they're making some basic Sun Tzu would tell you not to do this, like errors, splitting their forces like this, I tell you.
Gio want to run this double shield, but Rim is always off doing something that isn't what he should be doing. Like when you're playing a comp like this, you guys have to stay grouped up. You have to stay together, because RQT's Maywall literally just zones one of you off, gets the pick, and then the Rhine comp can just run through. So this is where you're seeing the perks of Rhine, but it also comes down to Gio are just not playing this double shield properly. They're playing two split. They need to play as one big group, almost like a tank, an army. And, I mean, Edinburgh are just capitalizing on the fact they're not doing that.
Well, okay, a Flux comes out here, a Blizzard in as well. That'll force the sound barrier out early on. That should give them enough room to charge for it. Merlin actually surges into the team, gets the shatter on the back line. Some brave, proud-hearted Reinhardt play coming in right there, but it might not be enough to turn this one around, because Awesome catches the rest of the team in the rotation and just puts some shotgun rounds where they, well, I guess where they belong.
Merlin just had no fear. I mean, he charged the high nooning McCree, and then he just turned around and shattered 4. Like, he put the Chad in how you're supposed to be playing Reinhardt. It's crazy.
A true hero plays right there, but unfortunately maybe a little misguided, a little bit young Reinhardt in action right there. It kind of just uses Maywall, I think, to try and soak up some of this damage from the beatdown bongo. Good grab does come in. Now, can they rush into this? They try and do so, but the Immortality Field stops any kills they really could have got. Still a bit of a mess there. Awesome goes for the Blossom and is shut down. Flankiata getting some picks in return, though, and it does look like the defense will hold there. A high noon was thrown out, I assume, by Empty, but nothing came of that at all.
Yeah, Gio the bongo just halted everything, and that's really that's what it's like. And now you're seeing Reinhardt Zarya struggle against just absolute power of double shield, this unmovable comp. It's just unbeatable. But I mean, Edinburgh, they have this Shattered and they have this Coalescence to help them engage a little bit. They need to be punishing SD Awesome too. He's just kind of doing whatever he feels like. And how did Reinhardt get up there?
Oh, I don't even know how he did that. I think they boosted it off a Maywall, but it doesn't matter. Merlin dies immediately. Pasty does get taken out of the action. Now they'll start to shove forward here with the Coalescence, but a Gravitic comes out. They did get Jazzberry. If they can finish off Awesome before he does too much damage, no. It's not going to happen. The fight seems to be reaching its inevitable conclusion. No, they're going to go back in. Fine, soft reset. Merlin on the lead. Get in there, do some damage, and lose Empty almost immediately.
Noble play coming out from Edinburgh. That took a lot of, just creativity, but it didn't really matter much, which really sucks because it would have been dope had it happened.
Pacey getting walled off there. Actually, a really good wall. Still manages to get RQT blinking around the side. Oh, and Awesome just gets more kills on this Reaper, and I'm beginning to think that this brawl might have petered out a little bit here at this third point.
I mean, it for sure has. They're not getting as much value as they would like from it. And I mean, they're really just banking on an ult chain to like really win. And I mean, they're coming up on one. They're gonna have grab and okay. Well, to say that a bunch of ults come out from Geo.
So actually a really good wall placed just in front of that window. Stops a lot of damage. Now Awesome down early. That's actually a big pick from Empty. Empty does trade that out, but still, they don't have to worry about that Reaper as they rush forward here. It's a great Blizzard in. They need to get the Immortality field completely out of it. Look at the smash come through. The Reinhardt leads the charge, but the rest of the team does the cleanup. And there's that ult Fiesta to break that open.
RQT just walked through them and just threw his Blizzard, and that was the end of it. I almost thought he got stunned out of it for a second, but didn't. And so I was like, oh no.
Here comes a Gravityx. It only gets Merlin. Now that's a bit of a problem because there's a great grab in there as well. Immortality field out quick-like, but it's not enough to really help them. Awesome drops in with the Death Blossom. Only gets 2. That's actually not bad. He'll get a 3rd there as well. That might be enough for him to try and turn this fight around, and surely it works. Zexu, Jazzberry, and Awesome, with a little bit of help from Flankiata, will hold the point, but definitely by the skin of their teeth, and by the skin of one Death Blossom, I guess I should say.
SD Awesome diff. His Death Blossom sort of carried that. It was looking like Edinburgh were just going to roll through and get it because, I mean, they had picks in their favor, they had momentum, and SD Awesome just was like, I'll press Q, and that was the end of it. And, you know, that's just the power of, his Reaper. I mean, SD Awesome is an amazing player.
I think they tried to do that little Merlin lift again. It didn't quite work out that time, so they have no wall here as well. Merlin actually just going to push straight forward. Window comes out on the back end. They're just going to keep pushing the window. They have to try and get by it, but oh, Pasty is there to shut it down with a point-blank high noon. Cleans up 2. Merlin goes down, and once more they're forced back in an ignoble retreat to their spawn.
Merlin's shield couldn't have done anything against Pasty's Deadeye. I mean, his shield had like 200 health. He could have gone for the charge and done what he did last time, but it wouldn't have mattered much. And now Vespa King swapping over to the Diva a little bit later than he probably would have liked to.
Well, those surge forward again. Blizzard does come out, and it's another good one. They've got a couple of targets trapped back here. They need to try and get the Brigida out of it. They will manage to get the Brigida and change. Pog doing great job with the Coalescence. There's an attempted Death Blossom halt again. It will not work. No redemption there, no saving from SD Awesome, and they'll finally push this cart forward, but in overtime, a solid 3rd-point defense there on behalf of Geometric.
Oh, for sure. Edinburgh barely got it at that. I mean, how long did Geo hold it for? Like 5.5 minutes?
I want to say it was about, at least 5 minutes.
I mean, that's a crazy good hold. Geo needs to be feeling proud of themselves for getting that. And the fact that they got it in OT too is really good. I was almost positive they weren't going to get it in OT because it was like 0.2, but as soon as it crossed that, like, it was just all done. And so, I mean, that looked really clean from Geo. They cleaned up their double shield a lot. They cycled ults really well. Like, they would use one ult and really just shut down a whole push. SD Awesome clutching it up. I mean, I would have thought they would have gotten there at that 1.5-minute mark, but SD Awesome just killed 4 and just totally changed it. And I mean, Geo has to be feeling proud about that.
Yeah, not a bad accomplishment at all. And I mean, you know, obviously they did complete, but you're, like you say, you're gonna feel a little gassed, right? If you get a 5-minute hold, and you're gonna forget about the fact that those first 2 points were a little not great, a little ugly. But we can ignore that for now and just focus on the good. But it'll be interesting running a Rhine Diva defense. Don't think I quite saw that coming.
Vespa King's best off tank is Diva, but I feel like they know Azaria isn't really going to be played because Rim and Zexu don't have the best Zaryas. So they probably sort of expect that Azaria won't be run, and I feel like Diva's decent, but she's not as good as she was. So I feel like Vespa King's either going to get melted here, or he's actually going to be able to play the game. It really just depends on how they opt to play this comp.
Well, Merlin and company were looking for a starting bell, but they didn't quite get it. Now they're going to rotate up through the Meridian. You don't often see him come up like that. That's an amazing little bit of play right there. Completely flipped the tails on things. Awesome, taken out right away with a charge. Merlin takes his opposite number out too. And now it's a brutal alleyway brawl here on King's Row. All fisticuffs except for, you know, one rocket-powered hammer. And they're just cleaning them out. Somebody's trying to make a cheeky cap on the point. It will indeed be Zexu there on the Sigma, but it's not enough. What a strange series of events, I must admit.
You know, my buddy Judes, we have since he's a Reinhardt player, we have a joke, and it's called the shift key disease. And it's when you play against enemy Reinhardt, they love pressing shift. Merlin is like terminally ill with the shift key disease. Like, he's in a hospice. He loves pressing the shift key, and he always gets away with it too. It's crazy. He needs to punish.
Well, they're trying to just push for the straight brawl this time. The two Reinhardts swinging at each other right there, smacking away. Nobody really going down. Immortality Field was forced out early from Flank Yada. Jazzberry goes down. Awesome quickly follows them into the grave. That is a very late Gravitic there from Zexu. Does cost them Merlin and forces a late sound barrier. Oh no. Pog probably wants that one back, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they didn't really need that beast. Maybe he wanted to play to keep Merlin alive, but Merlin was already dead. And see, it just the over aggression costs Pog to get picked, and Merlin's gonna be back, and Vesper King lose mech. So
Flank Yada is down as well. Now they're just gonna chuck the Blizzard on point, but Awesome had the High Noon. They push forward into it. Now the High Noon comes out from the opposite direction of Empty, but he'll get no joy on that. A great flashbang over the shield there to take Rim Jazzberry out of it. And what remains there of the Edinburgh Monarchs were clean up, but these have been some scrappy fights in a world of scrappy fights.
that was looking like it was all Geo there for a second.
Yeah, it was.
And then RQT threw the Blizzard, and Merlin got the Shatter, and it was just clean up for them afterwards. But, I mean, GR are going to be able to get back and get a fight much quicker. But as I say that, Edinburgh can fall 6 back.
There's the rotate around the shield. Bomb coming in point blank on the backside. The Shatter was good, but a bit of a slow response. Sound barrier coming in there. For half a second, whoa! Pasty! From nowhere with a huge tire to blow the point wide open, quite literally, and get his team that first point cap.
My analysis of that fight was Pasty got good bomb, or got good tire. That's really all it was, is Pasty getting those 4 kills. It opened the point up for him.
I love to see that one drawn up on the whiteboard. Big bomb kill enemy team. Spectacular. Oh, Window comes out early here on the street space. Merlin with the charge disease gets in there and gets a pick early on Rim Jazzberry. Might actually be able to clear enough space on the street for them to continue to push forward. There's the Gravitic. That's a good Gravitic, actually. Got a lot of bodies in that, and Pog will get smushed into the streets, the cobblestones here. Oh, and Awesome caps it off with a 3-man Death Blossom. And a kill right before that as well. Great play from the Reaper there. Both the DPS coming in big with their ults.
I was pretty skeptical of the Prince Zexu Sigma because he's notoriously a main tank player. But I mean, he's showing up. He's definitely outclassing Vespa King right now, especially these past 2-3 team fights. He's definitely showing up on the Sig, and you know, Rim is looking decent on the Reinhardt. I feel like Merlin's kind of got the upper hand on him.
Window comes out. Oh, Window comes out blocked. Blizzard comes in as well. Flank Yada trying to take advantage of that. Does get frozen. It's a great shatter from Merlin too, from the flank, to pick up those people trapped in that Blizzard. And then the cleanup just comes through. I mean, it's a valiant effort by Pasty to try and hold on. Gets that one pick in on RQT. You see Awesome flying in there, just trying to take Merlin out of the equation. Will not manage to do so before the fight is over.
I really like how Merlin capitalizes off of RQT's Blizzards. He always seems to shatter, and he always instantly goes for the Reinhardt. Because, you know, he has that shatter, and he knows if he can get Rim Jazz out of the way, that's an easy shatter right there. That's an easy cleanup shatter, and he wins the fight.
Well, it's a bit of a rough window there, but a good wall and a good charge, actually, by Merlin to try and reset the deck. Oh, that's nothing short of spectacular play from the Reinhardt there. It's a good attempt at the Gravitic coming out from Zexu, but it won't be enough. The wall coming up allows them to just push forward and to secure some space. Pasty in the back, though, does manage to get empty. Going for Merlin here as well, but man, what a great bit of play by Merlin to kind of reset and push him back past that window.
Merlin is looking amazing on this Reinhardt pick right now. I was sort of skeptical about it, but he's really outclassing Rim in almost every category.
Yeah.
Edinburgh's raw aggression right now is so good because they're making sure that Geo can't get a really good clean team fight. RQT's displacing with his walls. Merlin is pressing shift key, and there comes the Blizzard.
Blizzard again. Merlin's going to push forward into that. Rim is in deep trouble here, but Pasty hits 4 again. Another massive tire from the Junkrat player will escort his team through yet another point. And oh, they better bump up that man's salary. I don't know. I don't know what they're paying him, but they got to pay him everything they have.
Pasty is playing Junkrat as he needs to be played. He does nothing all attack, and then he gets a good tire and opens the point up. That's a true Junkrat experience.
Classic ladder rat right there. Just when you start to yell at him.
He gets a 5K.
He gets a 5K. Sound barrier out there. That'll enable them to keep this aggression pushing forward. They use Dragon's immortality field is turned and burned quite quickly. Dragon himself falls. A high noon coming out here, I think, just to try and slow things down. Works a little bit, but not enough because Merlin quickly taken out of the equation there on that front line pressure. Now that Rim goes down, though, might actually slow the roll a little bit. Zexu taken out, and that's a clear end to the fight right there, Braxis. No more.
It was looking like Geo were gonna take that, and then Merlin pressed shift key, got someone low. RQT got a free easy pick, and it just shut it down. Like that's really what it comes down to in these fights. Edinburgh are always doing something. Like their DPS are always killing somebody, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but it almost halts Geo because you're like, okay, Geo should win this fight easy, and then they just don't. Edinburgh always get picked.
Jazzberry dying first there with the shatter as well. Zexu can't really take advantage of it. Oh, trapped in the upper hallway with that ice wall. Pog dies to Junkrats. I don't know. What was that perk from Call of Duty 2? I can't remember what it was called.
Is it
Martyrdom?
Martyrdom.
Yeah, Martyrdom right there at the very end. But man, Jazzberry losing with the shatter. That hurts.
I think. Oh, I can't even get analysis. Team fight already breaking up.
Well, Sound Barrier comes out very early on. The Shadow comes in immediately thereafter. They throw in the Blizzard 2. Absolute little ult fiesta here around the cart for a half second. Trying to get something working. Window comes out. High noon now on the other side from empty. Wooly taken out of the equation by that. Oh, awesome off the top rope there with the Death Blossom. Gets a couple of picks and more importantly destroys that immortality field. And now the heat's on, the aggression's on again, and they're surging forward.
Vespa King has his Sig fluxed it to almost stabilize his team. They can come back and get a recontest. They're really playing for their ultimates right now. If Vespa King can just get 1 or 2 with this Flux, it wins them the fight.
Flux goes up. Flux goes down. Nobody quite goes. Oh, Pasty with the tire. No joy on that one. Detonated prematurely. The sound barrier does come out here from Wooly, just allowing them to extend this fight. That's a counter there from Rim. And they're going to pressure up into that. The window thrown out kind of as a last-ditch effort there by Dragon won't be enough. And they will complete, but also in overtime.
Edinburgh, one thing I noticed that whole time is they have really good discipline when it comes to their ults.
Yeah.
Like, they always cycle them. They never overcommit to a fight. Like, they'll use an Ant Matrix, get a pick, and then they'll clean up. They don't really spend. They're not sort of like Geo, who, like, Geo will decisively get a pick or two, and then they'll use an ult to clean up. Monarchs show really good ult discipline, and I feel like that really is the reason they're almost edging out Geo, because Geo constantly are popping ults while Monarchs just play it safe. They use an ult or two, and they save time. Like, they throw down an Ant Matrix, look how much space just got provided. Look how much time Geo are going to have to waste now waiting for this Ant Matrix to go down so they can accurately, so they can actually push. I feel like Monarchs are cycling ults, and they're using them really, they're disciplined with them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they really are. They really are. The play that they're doing off the back of the Blizzard, honestly, Abraxas, is some of the nicest, play, just combined play. You were mentioned it earlier, but the play off the Blizzard with the Rhine has been kind of superb, really well executed.
They're looking like a really cohesive unit right now. I don't know what they put in these guys' food for this one game, because they've been looking sort of weak. But I mean, whatever. This teamwork they're on now is crazy, and they're looking like they might be able to take the win from Geo. And that's what you'd always want to see, like the team that's not expected to win. It's just tradition.
those GMOs these days all do all sorts of stuff. They're actually going to shove straight onto the point speaking Edinburgh. And Jazberry dropped down there and pays for it quite brutally. Wooly tries to follow the Orisa in just to protect them. Can't do much though to preserve Awesome. Can't do much to preserve themselves. Zexu annihilated down there as well. And that is less than stellar defense here on point number 1.
Rim sort of soft through that by jumping down. They were walled off in one angle. He could have sat on that high ground where they were and forced someone like RQT or not RQT, someone like one of their DPS or their off tank to rotate, or they could have just dropped down as a unit. But he dropped down early, and Edinburgh's just superior brawl comp walked over him. And gold can only do so much. You know, it only reduces 50% of damage. That's still 50% of damage he's feeling. And I feel like I love Rim, but he sort of soft through that a little bit by that dropping down.
He felt every one of that 50%. I'll tell you what. Empty, though, feeling every one of those bullets that just took him out of the fight in the middle of the street. Now the pressure is starting to come forward, this time on the side of Geometric. They don't want to let that cart go an extra inch. They'll take Yada's Immortality Field out almost immediately. That's not a bad window, but they will be able to push straight through it. Merlin is removed from the equation. That forces the Sound Barrier and the Gravitic coming out here. It's not a bad Gravitic, but can they follow up for the kills? Now a window on the other end, wall off almost immediately. RQT has done a spectacular job of shutting those windows down all night long, but they're continuing to push forward here. Wooly way out of position, has to be very careful, will lose the Brigitte early on, and though they did get empty, oh, that's a good Gravitic coming in there to try and slow this down. Zexu unfortunately couldn't get any picks out of that though, and I said it was good, but I'm changing my mind. I think you might want that back, Praxis.
Zexu was definitely going for the Sig 9. He was trying to get as many of them off the point as possible because his OT has gone so long. He knew that it would probably almost instantly tick down before they dropped. But I mean, that's a sort of a wasted ult. They should have just backed up, and I get what he was doing was noble, but you know, and it's times like that you have to play for your ults, especially when it's just one fight.
Oh, they'll get an uncontested second point finish here, and they'll continue to go. The Blizzard's outflanked. Yada annihilated there. Frozen solid and then smashed into little shards by one very angry German man's hammer, and the pressure continues unabated.
Once again, when I talk about with Monarch and cycling ults and being disciplined with them, it goes to show that they're looking really good. Compared to Geo, they have way more game-changing ults coming up that could totally change the tide of a fight.
Oh, Shatter comes in, they'll push up onto it. Merlin, so aggressive, Awesome tries that top rope trick just one more time, but it's back Pasty again with 3 off the high noon, and the DPS combined there to save the team. I don't know if that was intentional, Braxis, but it certainly worked out.
Score.
This man Pasty loves doing what he does. I mean, you're like, where is Pasty the whole round, and then Pasty gets like a 3 or 4K and wins it in the fight. I mean, it's crazy. And he did it like 3 times the other round on Chunkrat. And now he does it on Kree. He saves his team the fight. At the same time, Merlin is... I'm surprised he's not being punished more because he just loves the shift key. Like, as soon as the cooldown is off, he's pressing it. I feel like if Geo can actually play to punish Merlin in his pure aggression, they can do really well because a lot of the reason they're winning these fights is because Merlin's just swinging his hammer. I mean, he's doing 85 damage a hit, and it looks really hard. Like, Geo are really struggling to punish. And especially someone like RQT... Monarch's whole play has looked clean. RQT's walls are amazing. I mean, Geo throws down an Ant Matrix. RQT's walls, like, right in it. They can't even get value on it. Monarchs are looking really clean, no matter what they seem to be playing. They're just looking clean. And it's kind of looking like Desperation Station for all Geometric right now. They need to be hoping they can win some fights back to back to back. Like, they really just cannot take a loss right now.
Yeah, Desperation Station and the Edinburgh Express is pulling in there at the moment, but we'll see what they've got in the tank here for this attack. Again, a very close hold or aggressive attack pattern here from the Edinburgh Monarchs, just trying to take this fight in the doorway. A little exchange of love taps there between Reinhardt's and a man of their own. That wall does come in, but they will not be able to capitalize on it. Merlin still trading blows with Rim, forces the Immortality Field out quite early. The rest of the Monarchs, though, will rotate through. Rim in definite trouble here, backs up. It's a good wall in, walls on both sides. Much better wall, though, on the side of the Monarchs, and they capitalize on it. That's Zexu, Awesome, and Jazberry all taken down in a very quick succession. And that'll send it back to spawn. 25 seconds on the clock.
you see it again. Merlin just walks into Geo, and they just don't punish him. He just sat there swinging on rim, SD awesome, and I forgot who the third person was, and they didn't even make a conscious effort to stop him.
Window comes out, speed comes in, shatter out from Merlin, cuts the attack down before it can even get any legs. Awesome does manage to pick Pog out of the midst of the chaos, but it might not be enough. Flank Yada throws the window in, but he's got a Merlin behind him. Smashes him down, and you barely even need this Gravitics. Awesome, the last attack are smashed into the cobbles of King's Row, and the Monarchs will walk away with a win.
I mean, flank ride. I mean, Merlin was like, Merlin shield at all that final round? I can't even tell you. Like, he was just walking into Geo, and Geo were struggling to handle him. Like, Geo, you can't just have the mentality of, like, if I don't think he exists, he doesn't exist. Like, Merlin definitely exists. He has a hammer. He's in your house. You guys have to look at him eventually, because he's just getting so much value by doing, I mean, he's just getting value by playing aggro.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, that was something that needed to be punished. You're completely correct when you brought that up, Raxus. He just did not get punished at all, and you almost wonder if the May. I mean, I think the May was brought in perhaps with the intention to punish the aggression, but you almost wonder if the Junkrat would do more from just raw damage to slow the Reinhardt down. But oof, they got to come up with something to contain him. I mean, it could just be a bad map for him. Could be a bad map for him.
SD also made the competent swap of going to May, but the issue with the May pick is they didn't punish Merlin once, and that really became the issue for them, is the fact that Merlin was just kind of just doing what he wanted, and that was the end of it. You know, like, no one was making any efforts to stop him. He was just walking into the team, and that last round, it was literally just exclusively Merlin doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with Awesome too is that, not to knock him because obviously he's a spectacular player, right? Like, we're not going to debate that, but he kind of his main focus on the May was that he would throw up the wall, and then that was it. Like, there was no other effort to try and contain the Reinhardt. Like, the wall would go up, and if Merlin just kind of kept on trucking on that last bit of defense right there, they didn't really do anything. I don't quite know what Awesome was focusing with the freeze. But whatever it was not the kind of rampaging Reinhardt. 16.5. I'll admit that I don't get that joke.
Neither do I.
That's an in-joke if ever I've seen one, but looks like we'll be moving on to our next map here, which will be Dorado, coming out from Geometric there with the pick. Monarchs will choose to take the defense here. Probably can't blame them for that. Meanwhile, Geometric preparing for the attack. Not going to make any substitutions, I don't think.
Monarchs,
Valerie, though, will get swapped in.
For Pog, which is expected. Valerie's Zenyatta looks pretty solid. And just like this, the series is evened up 1-1. It can go really either way at this point. And I feel like if Monarchs keep up this level of play, then I'm not going to predict anything, but if Merlin just keeps doing what he wants and Monarchs keep looking like, or Geometric keep looking like they're struggling, then that's the end of it, really. They just got to play smart.
Yeah, indeed they do. I mean, you said coming into this, you were not very confident, but you were relatively confident coming in here that Geometric, right, would be a strong team, right? Would be the superior squad. And I will admit, coming out of that first map, I very much thought so as well. But that was just such clean play on King's Row by the Monarchs. Then again, that was their map pick. Like, that was the map they chose. It was clearly a map that they felt comfortable with. So maybe we see something similar coming out of Geometric with their map pick in the tank.
I don't want to say that I think Geo is still on paper the better team, but I feel like the issue is they're struggling to adapt, and when they do adapt, it looks like they don't really know how to play the comp. Like, with the May coming out, they were obviously playing to punish, and then they didn't punish. It's really confusing what they're attempting to do. Like, they have the pieces to roll Monarchs, but at the same time, they just look like they're struggling to adapt against what Monarchs is playing. And I mean, Monarchs just gonna come out and they're gonna play this ball sick. I mean, they looked good on it, and I feel like they're gonna continue looking good on it. Especially if they can ride this momentum from last map. Maybe they boomed Geo's mentals. That's probably what they're hoping. They boomed Geo's mentals enough to where these next two maps will be a breeze for them.
Boom that mental. Yeah, I feel you. I don't know though. You think that they boom the mental, and surely I think Geometric probably reels a little bit, right? Like, well, I'm not going to deny that's going to happen, but I do wonder if you still think you came, if you came into this thinking you're the best team, I don't think that air of confidence really goes away at this point in time. That's my thinking on it, at least.
Yeah. And both teams are running out with a nearly mirror matchup. Geo's preferring the Mercy, but that's pretty easy to say because they have the Echo. I mean, SD Awesome's already messing it up. He's already 32 years old. He's not even scared.
Merlin, again, on this ball, we saw some great stuff earlier, but of course we saw great stuff from Rim as well. And speaking of Rim, hooking up on the high ground. Oh, what? Dragon and Valerie must have stand a little too close together there in the back line because both of them are down. Vespa King is also down. Merlin does manage to take Flankiata out of the equation, but it feels like far too little too late for his team. That was about as close to an absolute disaster as you could possibly have happen for initial picks.
SD Austin opened that point up entirely with his team by getting those 2 picks. Dragon and Valor, you guys have to stay clumped, but not that clumped, like, it was over for them. But they're getting a recontest, so it's looking good for them.
Awesome gets another strong pick, gets the clone off almost immediately. That will be a Sigma clone right there as Dragon goes in. There comes the clone Flux in, and down 3 with the Flux! Oh, awesome! Just shattering any semblance of a defense. He's not boomed, I'll tell you that right now.
He's just warming up. Why hasn't been on it? His Echo's really popping off right now, and he's sort of hard carried. He charged up a duplicate in like under a minute. That's insane, and then he gets crazy value out of it. So hopefully he can just keep up this level of play. Looks like Monarchs are sort of struggling, even though they made the swap over to the Ashe to punish.
He's not getting beat, he's getting mad. He's up there again, plaguing the high ground position. Merlin valiantly just trying to stall this card out with a minefield, but he'll die. He gets rocked. RQT though. Woo! 2 with the pulse bomb there on the back line. And both the supports, I think that should slow this press just a little bit here.
RQT is just doing what SD Awesome did to his team. He's just killing both supports with one ability. And it's just cleanup. It's literally just cleanup for Monarchs at this point. Everyone is low. RQT, okay, SD Awesome was 1 health in front of him and he didn't shoot the final bullet.
Pasty gets taken out. The Transcendence then has to come out from Flankiata, trying to just escort them through this street space. In comes the bomb, stops in the perfect spot. Awesome didn't get 2 on the backside though, so still there. Yeah, and he'll take Empty out as well. Awesome, just on a tear, does unfortunately die to the bomb right as I say that, but still pretty good.
Flankiata got the trans push or forced out, and it was looking like they could have done something with it, and then they did a little bit, but not as much value as you want, especially when you're popping trans. Even if you're being forced, even if your Transcendence is being forced, you still want to get some sort of value out of it, whether it's helping your team make space or not. I feel like he just got trans, and his team was just like, okay, we'll get healed. They need to be using it, and Prince Investigation gets the Flux off.
Oh, Zexu gets taken out early on. They've got a replacement Sigma, at least for a few seconds here. SD Awesome did pop the clone. Trying to push forward, trying to get a pick. Does actually take Empty out of the fight. Trying to build up the Gravitic, does get it. Vespa King, the sole target. It will not go off, though. The clone is destroyed. Now Rim Jazzberry pushing forward will finish off Vespa King already. Valerie goes down 2, and the pressure on here. Awesome, not ready to let up yet. And they'll continue to search forward.
EM must have felt pretty confident when they forced the Transcendence out of Flankiata, and Vespa King popped that, I just lost my train of thought. Vespa King popped that Sig Flux early, and it just wasn't enough. And I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Rim gets destroyed by minefields right there. Transcendence now coming out on the other side from Valerie, just trying to keep his team in the fight, secure them this win. I think you heard a Valking Mercy there on high, but it's Valerie. Valerie actually gets 3. The Zenyatta coming in big there at the tail end of the fight, securing nearly another one there if RQT hadn't jumped in with a little bit of a punch.
Yeah, Valerie just cleaned up. That's really what you expect to see. Flankiata Flakeout is the season 3 MVP for Novice, but Valerie's looking clean on the Zen, and he's got an opponent, it seems like, in the Zen 1v1. That's sort of what you like to see. He looked really clean there. One thing I am... Oh. Okay, well, MT's just not going to let me talk. Gonna get this game is just non-stop action. Like
they are not letting up. I tell you, they are relentless. These two sides. Great roll there, actually by Rim. Knocks the enemy team way back, but he's stunned out and killed before they can get any pressure on the back of it at all. That's a decent Gravitic. Got 2. Zexu slams him down. Valerie will die. It's a big pick coming in. Zexu, of course, pays for that with his life, as is tradition in this game. Empties bomb on the backside, doing serious work. Awesome gets out of dodge, but not before he helps Flank Yada remove Merlin from the brawl, and they'll get a lot of traction here. A misstick by RQT, kind of the sad footnote on an otherwise spectacular series of fights.
One thing I've noticed watching Rim play Wrecking Ball is for every good thing he does, he hard feeds. Like, he'll get like a 2 or 3K, and then he'll just get absolutely destroyed his next engage. I mean, it's just equal exchange, you know? It's
equal exchange.
He pops off and then he feeds. Actually, I think that's just being Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, that's just. I was just gonna say it's just another day in the Wrecking Ball world. To be honest, sometimes you get the ball and sometimes the ball gets you, and that's just the way it goes. Merlin, speaking of ball, does actually get a good pick on Pasty there to slow the roll of the attack, and we're kind of back to a bit of a dead area here, just forcing this regroup out at these doors.
Another really good clean exchange from Monarchs. Merlin just pile drives in, displaces, their DPS clean up. Pasty, or excuse me, not Pasty. Empty, I like the Ashe swap. I feel like Ashe is really good. Especially their Ashe. And I say that, and he gets instantly done with my Pasty, so never mind.
It was a really good bit of play right there, actually, from Rim. One of his good moments, right? He knocked them all off the high ground there. The rest of the team was quick to follow that in. Awesome there, just cleans up Valerie and Merlin, and they're rolling relatively uncontested towards the end, but they are running out of time here.
Now it's time to test my theory. Rim just knocked them all off high ground, opened up that fight. Let's see if he's gonna end.
Oh, that'll force his Transcendence out. Rim will throw the minefield to begin there, but it's really awesome and Pasty who are doing the lion's share of the work at the moment, getting those big kills. Merlin trying to be disrupted in the backline will have no success. That causes a Transcendence out of Valerie, but Valerie's alone, just kind of solo holding the point with the Transcendence. I guess that's just desperation kicking in right there. There was an attempt too, I think, by Vespa King to get out the front door that was met with nothing but disaster. Is Flank Yada now getting in on the action? Flank Yada getting 4 from the Zenyatta, reasserting a little bit of Zenyatta authority for Flank Yada here on this last point, but still the contest. Valerie trying to hold on as the Lucio. And that, I think, will signal the end, but a great little bit of play there by Flank Yada at the end of that stage.
They've got Yada in their name. They can't be bad at him.
It's an imperative. You can't be bad at him if you got Yada in your name.
If you name your account after a hero, if you're bad at them, then it's just a bad look. Flank Yada, cleaned up that fight there at the end. Valerie's desperation Transcendence to contest point long enough for his team to respawn. Didn't really do much. Geo were just picking them off as they came in. If I'm being honest, his team really didn't even have much of a chance to recontest. Geo just looked clean. And Wrecking Ball and Rim did 2 good things there. So, I mean, he's broken my theory. Maybe we tested a little bit more. But Rim looked really good there when he booped them all off high ground and just sort of opened up the point for his team. Because once you're booped off high ground, really they were playing for high ground, and then Rim just was like, he just swung through. Knocked them off high ground. Pasty as such were playing back, and they just got those free kills, and it was just a chain reaction from there. His minefield was good. They're doing a lot of really good zoning. DPS are really showing up right now. That is for sure. Geo's DPS are looking way better this round than they did last round. That's for sure.
To be fair, in this Rim Jazzberry theory of equal exchange, we never quite set a time frame. So it could be a matter of moments. It could be a matter of an entire push, but it'll come back. We know the wheel will turn, or the ball, I guess, will turn.
I'm specking him. Let's see.
And actually, you said that he got stuck in the back line and very nearly died there with a Discord on him as well. Did manage to get back to his team, but it was very nearly an early exit from this first point defense. He'll come sailing off the top deck again, gets stunned once more, has to pop the shield to get out of that with his life, and they'll continue to push this card up the street. So nobody really gone down yet. There comes Rim one more time, one more stun. Rim Jazzberry explodes into pieces, and there I think maybe the exchange starts to kick into effect, because they're going to surge underneath the bridge. The Monarchs do not want to slow down here, but their health, it's all critical. Valerie and Dragon probably looking real scared right now, trying to get everybody top back up, and they will not save Empty, so they will continue to push forward. Awesome comes in, starts to sweep it up from above. Valerie there to cut it short, but it won't make too much of a difference. It looks like the defense managed to slow this, but I don't know. They're still fighting. RQT. It's valiant.
I mean, Rim isn't even waiting for EM's stuns to come out. He's like, I'll just take all the stuns and then I'll pile drive. He's doing good on that, and I mean, his so aggro play style where he gets punished a lot is actually working in his favor, because compare him and Merlin's ult charge. He has that early minefield, it's gonna zone them off, and it might even get a pick or two, and it just instantly lowers their health. And Vespa King's off to the side now. He might get picked here.
Oh, RQT and Empty both down early, both DPS out of the equation for the Monarchs. Merlin can't do anything but roll back. Poor Valerie there, just absolutely destroyed, lasered to the face. And that is a solid fight cleanup there.
I mean, Rim popped mines and it zoned out Vespa King and Dragon. And so he just went in for the cleanup. Half of his team was on the other side. They couldn't really group up. Geometric just punished that. And I mean, that's really what you want to be seeing, especially with a comp like the one Geo is running. They need to be playing to split this team up. They need to be playing to displace them. And I mean, they're doing just that, and they're doing it really well, too.
The pressure's starting to come forward there. Valerie just trying to do a little bit of two-tapping with the Zenyatta. Can't quite make it work. Zexu gets that Gravitic out, which forces the Transcendence, but he will not get it off. Now will Awesome get their Gravitic. Up, down, there we go. Oh, Awesome. Again, these clones of the Sigma by Awesome have just been nothing short of devastation here for the Monarchs. They cannot get traction when that man gets that ult off.
I'm not a fan of RQT swap over to Pharah right here. Pharah is definitely his better pick, but just looking at it, I mean, he's running against an Echo and an Ashe. But I mean, Geo literally has no ults other than Woolie's. I keep losing my train of thought. Other than Woolie's rally and Rim's coming up on Minefield. As I say, I'm like, I don't really like the Pharah. He gets one, so.
He absolutely highlights his hard counter. Empty does die in the backline on the Tracer. Minefield comes out there, and it's Awesome again. Oh, isn't it always Awesome with 4 to just break the back of one of these last desperate push attempts, and they are running out of time and running out of options, running out of even, dare I say it, Abraxas ideas at this point in time.
I'm just wondering where SD Awesome's Overwatch League contract is, because he's really putting Geo on his back right now with his Echo. He's looking clean with it. He's getting early picks. He's, he's really working well with his team. And as I say that, he gets picked by Valerie. But they're not really taking that big a hit.
No, they'll still keep going. The Transcendence does come out there in response to Vespa King's Flux, and they'll continue to try and push this one forward here. This is perhaps one of their better shots they've had. Even as I say that, Merlin and Empty both die early on. RQT drops a barrage on the back, only manages to skip Flank Yada. Pasty is there. Oh no, but now the God King himself has returned. SD Awesome floats down from the sky like an engine, an angel of destruction, and Vespa King can do nothing as he's cloned and beaten down by a version of himself. And that will signal the end of that. Geometric picks up El Dorado.
Okay, Geometric was not boomed. I just want to say that, and I also want to say SD Awesome might want to look into becoming an off-tank player, because a Sigma was really good, even for the 15 seconds he was on him. He was just getting those value off those fluxes, like you see here. Like, he always gets so much value out of them. It was crazy how he managed.
It really was, actually. It did spectacular work. I mean, obviously he did spectacular work when he wasn't cloned, but really doing a great job, and 61% kill participation in there as well. Good Lord in heaven almighty. That was that was that Overwatch 2 trailer echo. That was what we were seeing right there. The real big explosion echo. Great stuff.
SD Awesome got full range, or got full it's got full use of Echo's entire kit. Like, and he used it so well. When he was popping duplicate, he was getting value. He was using his beam, he was getting value. He was using his stickies, he was getting value. He just looked stellar on this Echo. I mean, that's really all there is to say. He just looked way better than EM's DPS. He just came out swinging. That's really all it was. He just came out swinging, and it almost kind of looked like RQT and Empty. They were kind of confused on what to do, and I feel like RQT's swap over to Faro was really good, and he could have gotten a lot of value because he was getting those picks. But when it mattered most, he just couldn't. And I feel like SD Awesome is a lot to say about that because SD Awesome was consistently shutting down his other team's DPS. And that's really what you want to see when you're on Echoes because she's such a powerful character. You hit him with sticky bombs, you hit him with beam, boom, they're both down. You know, like it's just so much burst damage. It's so much good damage. It's crazy.
I mean, she's a very high damage hero, which is something that I think because she came into the game so late and because she has kind of, it sounds weird, but she doesn't look super destructive. You know what I mean? She's all white and floaty and has those blue beams and stuff. But man, that character dishes out punishment at a rate that really cannot be overstated. I mean, obviously kind of a glass cannon on the other end, but in the hands of a skilled player who knows how to use the fly, who knows how to really put the boot in, which I think Awesome is showing, at least for this level of play, just an unstoppable machine of annihilation, really. If we're being honest, looks like they've chosen their map here. I do believe it's Hanamura. Is that correct?
Yes, it is Hanamura, and Geo asked for the defense. That's pretty surprising. Actually, it's not surprising. Teams love defending first.
Yeah, I think that this is a discussion I've had with many people over my time casting Overwatch, and I think that the general consensus is that initial defense, right, is the way to go. You want to be the first team to get a shot at it, just because it sometimes, if you have a really good defense, it does make your burden on the attack so much less. But we'll see what they come out with here. I don't see any swaps coming in either. It looks like we're just going clean in with the rosters we just saw on Dorado.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't blame Monarchs for really making any swaps here. They're looking good. Geo, I think the only real reason Monarchs really lost that is because SD Awesome just did whatever he felt like, and that was the end of it. And they're going to use up all their time, so they have minute 55, which is not that big a deal.
Yeah, it looks like Rim might be having some problems where he isn't able to use his microphone right now, so they're slowing stuff down for just half a second here to give him a chance to get back on. I mean, I think that if we're being honest, I do wonder. I assume that we're going to see a swap away from Ball Sigma here on Hanamura. I don't think it's as an effective comp on either side of the ball, no pun intended, when it comes to attacking this particular 2CP.
Probably expecting to see Arisa Sigma, that or Ride Sig.
Yeah.
It's just the best comp you can play, especially on Hanamura. I forget what team it was yesterday. Yeah, Double Cap. They were looking really clean on it on Hanamura. So I feel like, especially like on this map, you can definitely get value out of Sig Ball. Like, this map is really open in certain areas, and by that I mean just second point. And first point's a little bit open. I feel like first point's more condensed because it's like you have two chokes to really go through. I have one choke. You have one choke with multiple entrances. Like, you have the main gate, the little cubby out on the side, and the two top areas. So I would count those as like areas you can push through. But Double Shield's so favored here because you just hold choke, and that's the end of it. If they can't push through choke, if you're covering off angles, they can't really make any. They can't really make any progress. So I'm expecting to see the mirror matchup of Double Shield versus Double Shield.
Double Shield versus Double Shield. Let's see if you're correct. I have a feeling that you are. My gut instinct would be to side with that assumption as well. That being said, I mean, if you do try and aggressively hold that forward position with a Double Shield, and maybe with the Ryan changes, maybe with an aggressive Ryan, like Merlin, you could possibly go over the top. But the fact that we're seeing Valerie being kept in here as opposed to Pog being put back in makes me think that it's less likely we'll be seeing that Lucio coming in. So less likely that we'll be seeing kind of that rush down composition. If I had to say.
Yeah, it's been like 5:20. Time's up. Been a
It looks, yeah. It looks like we are getting things started here after that delay. Time is up.
I didn't want to.
Up.
I didn't want to be that guy and like force them, but you're right. I mean, time is up. Time is up. I wouldn't give him like an extra 20 seconds, but you're right. We're going in.
Our insightful analytical repartee can only last so long. It can only last so long before we come back to the point, as you so aptly put it tonight, that Orisa Sigma good. Just Orisa Sigma real good. Much damage. Hard stop.
Oh my god. Okay, I think the real surprising factor here is they're running Genji. No
What?
way. No way Gior gonna pull out these Genji.
Why though?
Genji's who knows? I mean, hey guys, old meta. You know,
We're clearly running double shield here. Like, I mean, sure, the man throws shurikens with the velocity of bullets, apparently, but don't really know that he's the call. I can only assume that Awesome is just gonna, I don't know, harass on off angles.
EM are probably just going to, if I had to guess, they're probably just going to TP to point. Awesome is obviously scouting. He must already know that they're probably TPing. Yeah, and they're just going to TP to point. Well, they're not, actually. Wait, what?
Oh, they teleported up to the high ground and dropped in. So they're actually using that to close distance. It might just have worked out. Because look at that. Rim backs up into a literal corner. And it's crushed against the wall. Smashed to pace. Oh, and they'll get Zexu out of it as well. Merlin, the only casualty. It is Awesome on that game. Genji getting the pick and then getting absolutely chased here by the Reaper around the outside. But wow, it's already breaking. Awesome tries to come back and contest, but what can one lone swordsman do in the face of such unrivaled aggression? And they'll take that, and that's a mistake. That was bad. That was not so great.
Yeah, they just TP'd up there and barreled on. Now they have 6 minutes to sort of just push. They can honestly just bank for 6 ults and roll. But, I mean, they're just going to hope to snowball it. SD Awesome's got this Genji ult. He's getting close, at least.
Zexu into the trench. They're actually going to try and pressure onto the Sigma. So much is being devoted to keeping Zexu alive. Zexu, for some reason, backs down the stairs, trying to kind of take a 1v1 with Empty on the Symmetra. It does not end well for Zexu. RQT is here on the point. All the percentage is already going up. This Blade, Awesome. What? Gets 2 with the Genji Blade and saves the day yet again with a critical DPS ult on a character that should not be getting that much value. But even as I say that, Merlin strikes back from the grave here on the backside, comes up from the trench. Oh no, RQT. Oh, it was over, bud. It's over.
EM are going back in. They're committing.
They want it, man. They want it. They don't want that blade to deny them.
The fact that SD Awesome even lived there to get that blade off was crazy, because that Sim was just pressuring him with her turrets, and the fact that then he proceeds to get 2 low health targets, it clutched up the point. And EM, I wanted EM to win there. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was rooting for old Merlin and RQT to win that, but I mean, in the end, it just doesn't matter. They got 2 CP'd, and that's the end of it.
I feel like I laugh way too much during some of these broadcasts, but man, this is some of the craziest stuff that I see in all the Overwatch that I get to commentate. That was really something. Again, she double dash kill to hold the point there when everything looked like it was turning against him. Now they've kind of got their varying angles of fire set up here, but the teleport, of course, drops them straight in on point. Somebody gonna contest that? Nope.
Guys, the point?
C9?
The point? You guys have to touch.
Bob coming in there at the bitter end. Like, oh no.
As Valerie says, funny letter number. But I mean, he's right. The point, like Geo, you guys have to touch. You have to touch that thing.
Objective-based game? What? Objective-based game. Oh no, that was bad. I was laughing because there was some crazy stuff going on there. But honestly, like if we take that that was not a good defense from Geometric at any level. That was just not well executed at all. Kind of way below what I would almost expect from them at this point in time in Braxis, if I'm being truly honest with you.
If I'm being quite honest, looking at this game, it is really a I keep losing my train of thought. This game really is a novice moment. Like that round was a novice moment because
Yeah,
I mean SD Awesome popping off,
true.
C9s, novice moment. Truly, it was interesting to watch because I feel like Vespa King's flux kind of prevented Geo from getting on point, but at the same time, Geo had ample time to like drop down. Like they know they could do that. Like they could drop the point. That or someone was supposed to rotate over the point and they just didn't. Whatever happened happened. I mean, EM got the point with 4 minutes and 16 seconds in the time bank. Geo are just they gotta be hoping they can bring it back. I have hope they can bring it back from the brink.
Well, let's see what they can do there. Didn't look particularly great because for a moment there, Rim just stopped in the middle of the road, and you saw that head jiggle from the Orisa as RQT planted a bullet right between the eyes. But the teleport coming into a similar position, actually. They're going to try and get down. They just need to establish a base of fire here on the corner of the point and just focus the damage in on an individual target. Like Yada's immortality field goes out, Rim dies almost immediately once the immortality field is gone. They're still trying to fight this out, but again, it's Valerie on the Zenyatta, putting in the damage, putting in the orbs, and helping his team clean the point, or their team clean the point, I should say, and wow.
Empty with the hammer kill on flank Yada.
Oh, dark. Well, you knew it was coming. Somebody has to take the hammer blow, you know? It's gotta happen.
Empty loves playing Torb. I don't know what it is about him. Torb's insanely strong, but Empty just loves playing this Torb.
Maybe somebody should destroy that teleporter? I don't know. Just a thought. Oh, there it is. No, you gotta protect it.
Okay. Rim went on. Rim?
No. saving Private Orisa right now. Rim Jazzberry hiding on the high ground. And they have to know he's up there. Well, they definitely know now. The teleporter comes in to help drop around. Rim pushing on here, trying to hold it out. RQT going down very early on. The window did come out from the opposite side. They're actually using that majority for the healing boost, and it is very good at doing that, allowing the team to sustain through. Valerie tries to slow it down, does actually manage to get it picked, but things are slowly starting to roll in favor of Geometric. And SD Awesome, again, always the centerpiece, always the flash with that DPS, and that time it's the microwave beam clearing the point and giving them a first point capture.
You love to see it. You really love to see it. Symmetra is I really like Symmetra on that point. I almost was thinking, when I was first watching it, when Rim TP'd alone, I was like, oh my god, it's good. He's actually like, that's the end. But somehow EM didn't notice the big horse just sitting on high ground. They didn't notice, or they just didn't care, and I feel like that was the end of it for them.
There was definitely a moment of pure terror, though. There was definitely a moment of pure terror. The Porter again, but I don't even think they managed to do anything with it. I think it got destroyed. RQT tossed out the bomb there kind of preemptively to try and prevent a point capture, and it wasn't even really needed.
That's sweet. Now they just TP to high ground.
And there is the teleport, but it's a very abrupt teleport. Molten Core coming in there. Empty kicked out of the air by Pasty, but Empty's already done what they needed to do. Denied the high ground take. And now they're just going to kind of collapse on lone Prince Zexu there. And it should be a matter of time before the Sigma just dies. There we go. They're staggering him a little bit, I think.
Prince Zexu gets a kill just to send himself off. Oh, there's the sim turret still on. Okay, Empty got it. Empty's Torbo was really good there because it almost forced EM, like they couldn't really punish people down hallway, and it got picks, and I feel like that was really good for them. I usually am very on the fence about Empty on the Tor, but Empty seems to be, he's doing work on him. And he's got a hammer kill just to really throw it in the trophy case, so they must be feeling good.
Nothing stings like a hammer kill.
It's almost as awful as a mercy kill.
Very true. Well, Gravitic coming out there actually early on, trying to stall him out in the hallway, but it's Merlin who will die first. A trading of Orissas occurs right there, and a beatdown bongo is destroyed in the process. They're again trying to push up this hallway, but a window there might actually slow it down. Valerie tries to play frontline Zenyatta, suffers the fate of many a frontline Zenyatta, and RQT in a desperate sort of last moment play does manage to get a bomb onto point, I think just to slow the roll of this attack just a little bit, which actually buys Merlin enough time to get up onto the high ground and clean up 2 DPS and a support point before he drops down to the point and is caught by blind fire from Rib Jazzberry.
Oh, I'm currently outside of the map
Uh-oh.
on spec.
Yeah.
I am currently. Oh, what is happening?
Cruising the streets of Tokyo at the moment.
I actually am inside of the game, inside of the map's walls. I need to take a screenshot of this for a second. This is what is happening on my screen.
The pressure coming on now. Rim Jazzberry trying to lead the assault.
Oh, that's
Everything, though, takes Blankiata out early on. Awesome returns the favor. Valerie's out of this as well. Jazzberry getting kills, flailing back and forth, but it's empty on the Torbjorn, who takes out both Pasty and Wooly on the high ground. Pays for it with his life, and it is a last man standing, knock him down, drag him out kind of brawl there on the point. But at the end of the day, the Edinburgh Monarchs are left standing. Their opponents, not so much.
Okay, so I got back into the map for the tail end of that fight. It wouldn't let me TP to people, and I was stuck inside the map. I don't know what happened, but I mean, it's just fixed. All I can say is, I mean, good defense, guys. Really good defense. Looking solid on it. This next fight, this is it.
This is very much running into last fight territory. Minute left on the clock. Molten Core early on there. Molten Core shuts off the stairwell. Merlin's actually going to rotate up, and they're going to catch two. It's Awesome and Zexu got caught in the hallway in a brutal crossfire and just destroyed. And Valerie there with kind of the parting shots escort him out. Valerie, whoa, okay, come on. What? Come on back, Zenyatta. There you go.
We saw Merlin flank on Reinhardt, now we're seeing him flank on Orisa. That was a really good play. They almost pinched them because Empty popped his Molten Core, and then, I mean, Gio was kind of forced to make that move over to high ground, and all Merlin did was, I mean, he just dropped back behind them, and they were getting shot from like 3 angles, and that was a really good play.
Well, it's last fight here for Geometric. They will not get another one. Flankiata has the window. Pasty has that ult. Merlin dropping down to contest. Transcendence comes out. You see Flankiata trying to get some value out of the window, but he can't. Empty, the only casualty on the side of the Edinburgh Monarchs. The Monarchs hold spectacularly so there to take the win and tie the series up.
Now we get to go to a 5th map. My favorite. Yay, Busan.
Let's go. Definitely have to cast a game at 8 p.m. Eastern or anything.
Yeah.
Keep it going, boy. Let's go.
No breaks. They're not allowed.
No breaks. But yeah, I'm sorry. I cut you off there, Braxis. You were saying.
Monarchs looked really good on that defense. They looked like they were more coordinated than obviously the last map. Gotta let them know. Next match we saw on. They just looked good on the defense. It looked like they were good at splitting up Geometric. They were good at getting early picks. They were just looking like the better team on that defense. This match is so back and forth because one second you're like, oh wow, it's looking like Geometric are looking like the superior team, and then Monarchs just like, no, they're not, and you're like, okay, wait, Monarchs are looking like they might be able to pull out the win, and then Geo's like, no, they won't. It's just so back and forth. I wish one team would make up their mind. Who is the better team in this game? Can we please figure that out? Because it's just flip-flop. It's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Empty's Torb looked really clean on that Hanamura second point, though, because he was actively using his multi-core ult, and they were just splitting up Geometric. They were pinching them down. It was looking really clean for them. And it was looking at some points that SD Awesome was almost going to carry and clutch it up. But, I mean, EM just looked good there. That's my analysis. EM looked good. They looked coordinated. They looked like they knew what they were doing. They were playing a comp they were comfortable on. And I feel like a lot of it comes down to not that they were playing as well as they were, but Geometric was also making a lot of mistakes they shouldn't have. Geometric was finding themselves getting split up a lot. Sometimes they didn't feel like they were on the same page. Zexu was going off to do his own thing. Rim was doing his own thing. SD Awesome, there were points where his sim just wasn't working, but they stuck with it when they really just shouldn't have. So I feel like it's a mix of Monarchs playing insanely good and Geometric making mistakes they really shouldn't be making at this level.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like there was a goodly portion of time there on Hanamura where Geometric kind of just felt like they didn't know what they were really trying to do. Like they had plans. I mean, they used the teleporter, didn't really work, but then once they stopped using the teleporter, it was just kind of all over the place in terms of what they were actually gunning for a lot of the time. I don't know. And even we talk about Awesome, and I mean, Awesome had some very good moments on that map, but in general, kind of a quiet map coming off the back of a really sterling performance on on Dorado, and then comes in and has a pretty quiet one there on Hanamura, except for one or two flare-ups of creativity, and I think that just speaks to what the team really didn't know what was going on.
So MT can rest easy knowing that Twitch chat clipped him struggling with the turret up on lockers. They named it Novice Manlet Struggles with Metal. So it says metal. It says metal.
I mean, I assume the turrets are made out of metal.
Bully empty mode. Bully empty. But yeah, I mean, Monarchs look good. Hopefully, they can carry that momentum off of that map into this next map. I mean,
Well,
we've seen two back-to-back maps where defenses are looking solid from both teams.
Yeah, but that's the thing here, Bryce, is we are out of the realm of defense, right? That is just not a thing that we're going to be seeing, right? In the sense that we're going to lack some of that organization. And last time that we were on a Koth map, I mean, it was the beginning of this series, but last time we were on a Koth map, it looked good for Monarchs for about a map. And then it just didn't. It didn't look good. Geometric, I think, kind of asserted their dominance here. And a lot of this, I think, is going to come down to Rim and how strong of a ball he plays on these maps, because you have to think that they're going to go back to Ball Sigma here.
Oh, for sure. Especially on downtown, they're definitely going to be favoring Ball Sigma because, I mean, it's just the superior comp. But on Mecha Base, we might be seeing a lot of Rhine Sigma. That's what I'm expecting to see on Mecha Base. We might see some Zarya. We might see Vespa King come out with the Diva. But I'm expecting Rhine Sig. I'm not expecting much of Ball Sig because I feel like Rhine Sig just helps so much in kind of holding chokes. And we have R's from both teams. We're going in.
All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Series tied 2-2 here in this League Zero Novice semifinal. Geometric versus the Edinburgh Monarchs as we get set for our tiebreaker map in the wonderful city of Busan.
This will be a pretty good upset if EM wins, because personally, as much as I love EM, I wasn't really expecting them to win. I knew it'd be close. I assumed sort of like a 3-1 for Geo, but it's looking like Geo are looking pretty confused right now. They don't really know how to play against some of what Monarchs is coming out with. Monarchs just aggression seems to be throwing off Geo a little bit. Because I guess they're used to being the aggressive team, and Monarchs are just like, press W key to win. That's really how they're playing. Especially Merlin. Merlin's just playing like he has no fear. Like, Merlin is fully in the mindset of he respawns, and that's really all that matters. He dies, he respawns.
Death is meaningless here. He's been playing a lot of Dark Souls to prepare himself for this. Death is meaningless. Just keep going. And coming out here on the door, okay, everything that we would expect. Merlin, unfortunately, I'll pretend like I didn't see that, Merlin, rolling into the sign. It's okay. Jazzberry gets taken down to about half very early on. Doesn't need to pop the shields. Actually going to try and come over the top and slam down onto the point. Will do so. It's hunting a Zenyatta here, but actually has to peel off with shields activated. Unfortunately, Dragon was kind of displaced right there. Got taken out on the outside edge by Pasty. Now again, the Zenyatta is punished. Valerie can't do anything with the giant hamster death machine in their face. They will go down. Merlin follows them in, and it's a solid and dominant early take here from the Monarchs with Rim Jazzberry surging into the lead.
Geo looked really composed on this comp. They've looked more composed on that exclusive fight than they have running this comp for most of the game. They capitalized on easy kills, and I mean now looking at ult economy. I mean Geo are coming up with way more ults than Monarchs are, and that's really what you want to be seeing, especially in this mirror matchup.
Well, Merlin tries to lead in there, coming by the train track with the rest of the team. That's a good play by Rim there. Oh, Rim, though, even as I say that, gets rocked and destroyed. The Pulse, though, Awesome turns it around on the other end. That's Valerie and Vespa King down, and Awesome will get a third. Once more, the DPS Virtuoso comes up big there for his team.
The Rim Jazzberry theory prevails once
It
more.
does. It actually did right there.
And he's already back. He's already back. And looking at ult economy, Geo have 3 ults coming up. That's really what you want to see, but as soon as I say that, Valerie picks off ST Awesome, which might be enough.
Awesome, the DPS, the DPS strength of the lineup taken out there. RQT tries to pull their own little bit of a trick with the Pulse Bomb, does get Wooly out of it, but the rest of the team just closes down on the members of the Monarchs and picks them off one by one. Jazzberry gets 3! What a nice pile drive there, and RQT takes Flank Yada out of the equation, but not before being forced off the train tracks, onto the train tracks themselves.
Aqua saying in chat, goodbye RQT, because he just fell off the edge of the map. That looked clean from Geo. It was looking like EM were gonna open it up, and Prince actually pops this early flux. He's not even gonna let me talk.
The trans did come in there, actually helped them clear this minefield a little bit. Valerie getting hyper aggressive here, playing straight into Rim Jazzberry. Jazzberry rolls back to the rest of the team for Suckler and gets it. Flank Yada, though, did get taken out by RQT early on. Now Merlin getting a kill. Vespa King comes in as well on the back of the Gridic Flux. They invest the Bob here as well. I mean, that was a significant amount of ultimates thrown into that fight, but they will get the point flip.
I almost want to say that was sort of an overinvestment of ults, because now they're playing against the Geometric who have 3 ults compared to EM's 1. Maybe RQT and Pace, or maybe RQT and MT can get a good opening pick for them and shut down Geo's push, but looking at it, they have more meaning for ults, and as I say that, Valerie gets picked off easily by ST Awesome.
Awesome again. He starts it off with a really good Pulse Bomb kill there, taking the Zenyatta out of the action. Flank Yada goes down. Both Zenyatas traded out here to start, but it's Merlin who goes down next. A crucial kill. The high noon from Pasty there on the flank, enough for them to just sweep this point clear. And I think that should signal the end for any hope of contesting. Oh. Rolling back in there is Merlin, just tries to keep it alive. Merlin can't do anything, completely stuck like a stick in the mud. Annihilated right there, now on the legs, Empty rushes back in. The Diva comes trickling in as well. Pasty out of action. There may be an opportunity here, an opening. Flank Yada's down as well. Empty doing major work. They'll lose Dragon early on though. Even as I say that, the minefield dropping in from Rim, trying to put a bow on this one. Rim knocks their opposite number right off the point. Merlin rolls right back in. Merlin eats a mine, is destroyed. Wooly, the Brigida, swinging for the fences. And now it's just cleaning up some very squishy characters here on the point. One persistent Lucio on the part of Valerie will not be enough to stall. RQT with the Discord drops in, annihilated. And that is stage 1 of the tiebreaker in favor of Geometric.
RQT and Valerie almost brought it back from the brink. They got so close, but it doesn't matter in the face of Geometric. Oh, and we're asking for a pause.
Ready for battle.
Why are we pausing?
I don't know. I don't know why we're pausing, but we are pausing. Looks like it may be for voice chat. Blank Yada struggling.
I just got quadruple pinged. Someone's asking for to be moved. But they're not in a VC, so I don't know what they're wanting me to do here.
Okay, well, we will wait for a moment here. Going into Drum, which I know has a better name.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, there we go.
Drum actually sounds better though, not gonna lie, because I don't know how this is a Sanctuary.
I don't think they're ready to get started yet. I'm not sure exactly if we're running into rules territory or something.
As usual.
Oh, I just saw in chat, Flank dying. He can't breathe. Give us a sec. What?
Well, I hope that is not... Yeah, I hope that is not actually the case. I hope that Flank Yada is okay. we'll get that update there. Medical updates, not something that usually comes into the world of Overwatch, but hopefully Flank is fine. Um, yeah, Sanctuary indeed. I mean, no real surprises too much on these compositions. Zexu, Flank is fine. There we go. That's good.
Okay, we're going back in again.
All
Two
right.
back-to-back pauses.
Yeah, Prince Zexu and Rim Jazzberry sticking with the Sigma ball. That's been kind of the bread and butter and has worked quite well. Coming into the double shield with Empty back on that Torbular.
I like Geo on the Sig ball. I mean, they looked really clean with it last round. It looks like they actually are learning how to play that comp a little bit better than originally. So I feel like they're gonna get some value out of it. But Empty on the Storm might really shut down the flankers.
Indeed. Well, a lot of gunfire being exchanged there around Drum Jr. On the left side of the map or the right side, depending on where you're coming from. But Rim Jazzberry dies quickly and dies first. That being said, though, the point is flipping behind them, so they will have to rotate. And the first casualty of that rotate is Merlin. Pasty with 2, actually. Doing great work, uncontested in the back as this Ashe with the pocket, pumping in shots. They continue going here. I mean, the fight is not over. But with Valerie getting taken out of the mixture as well, oh my lord. Pasty, unstoppable there. Filling in for a little bit of void left by SD Awesome in that fight, but really showing work on that Ashe.
Just point me in the right direction.
Pasty opened that up when he got that easy pick on Merlin. It really just kind of allowed Geo to just walk over and stomp them. And I mean, Geo are definitely going to be struggling a little, or EM are going to be struggling a little bit because Geo's playing just such a split comp. They're playing so far together that EM are running the risk of getting killed just like that before they can even make a push in.
Oh, Flank got a huge pick right there to start that off. Valerie has been absolutely crucial on these attacks. Pasty continuing to just chunk in damage. Zexu, Awesome. The whole crew get involved on this one as they'll just clean up that attack. And that percentage and their playoff hopes continues to tick down.
And as I'm reading Twitch chat, let me just double check and verify this real quick. It's looking like Wisdom won. Do you know this? Is there a score? Oh, that sounds about like a Wisdom game. Oh, Wisdom won 3-1, and then they tied on Temple. So
Alrighty
Wisdom,
then.
one-trick wonder. So Wisdom are in the grand finals, which, I mean, oh my god, who would have thought that? It's looking like a Wisdom Academy versus Geometric grand finals again. Whoa.
Oh, RQT come back in on the Pharah, gets 3 to start. Valerie on a Brigida as well, getting in on the action. RQT with 4 in the midst of that fight on that Pharah. Huge swap there to the Egyptian sensation there to turn that one around.
Okay, well maybe if RQT keeps playing Pharah like this, it might be an EM versus Wisdom Academy finals.
Yeah, that was some great Pharah play there. Actually kind of unexpected too. Kind of snuck that one in past us.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting much out of the Pharah pick, but I was proven wrong. But Vesa King's dropped insanely low. That might be it for him.
RQT drops insanely low. RQT is brought down. There's SD Awesome there to clean up that kill. They can't even get the res. The Gravitic comes out. It's got targets in it. Down goes Valerie. Down goes Vespa King. Down goes the rest of the squad. The whole wall there just breaking. And it's a lone Merlin on point, burned out and destroyed. And again, they just don't have enough time. Maybe for 2 more fights if they're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, Geo has a lot of ults to work with, but I mean, so does EM. EM have this Sig Flux. They're coming up on, Dragon has to pop this Valkyrie early, and it doesn't even matter.
No, RQT goes down. The Gravitic does come in. They don't get much out of it, though. Valerie's taken out of the action early on again. And it's just disaster. Everything going wrong here at this last stage for the folks from Edinburgh Monarchs. The minefield is deployed, but it ultimately means almost nothing. It's just the 2 tanks, Vespa King and Merlin, trying to keep this together. Vespa King goes down. Merlin taken out by Pasty. Oh, and that's got to be the end. The only person in touching position, RQT. RQT down. And Geometric punches their tickets to the finals.
Geometric versus Wisdom Academy finals. V2! It's almost a return of fates. Maybe Wisdom Academy can redeem themselves after last year. and I'm excited to watch it. Both these teams are looking like powerhouses. This game's a little bit too close for my comfort personally, but Geometric looked good when it mattered. That's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely the crew there put up one heck of a fight. I think throughout that. Edinburgh Monarchs did not make that easy for them at all. Probably performed, if we're being, truthful, a little bit above our expectations when we came in, but a solid game from them to be sure.
Yeah, who wants to interview? Actually, I think I want to get SD Awesome in here, but I'll just ask who wants to interview because it's just the nice thing to do. SDA. Who would have thunk it? Just like we'll do a little bit of this. We're in casting booth 2, right?
We are in casting booth 2, yes.
And here we have SD Awesome with us.
What's up?
How you feeling after that win, SD Awesome?
I'm feeling pretty hyped. It was going a bit rough, but I think we brought it back.
A little bit too close for comfort. That's understandable. Right. I don't really have many questions. I just want to ask, what about that Dorado game, man? You just popped off. Someone's at my door, so I'll be back.
All right. Do I answer it now, or do I wait for him to come back?
Yeah, you could go ahead. It's fine.
All right. So in the Dorado game, we had just come out. I think they took a map off of us, and then I was kind of mad. I was not having it. So I started calming more. I started, telling my team where to be and what to do a bit more, and also focusing on my mechanics. But yeah, it was more, just me being mad. I wanted to win. Bad.
I totally understand. Was there any time though, I think across those maps where you guys started to lose your cool, lose your composure a little bit as a team? Was there, I guess, any time where you guys were really worried that you weren't going to be able to pull out the win?
No, we weren't.
Never.
No, we were just being in the moment. I made sure that we kept our mentals right. I didn't want them to tilt or anything, so I was just we called it a 2-0 going into this map. We weren't counting their wins. We just counted them as our mistakes, and yeah.
Fair enough.
We just went in with our heads right, focused on this map, not focused on what happened before.
Well, I mean, it worked out clearly, so good job for keeping the mental steady. Is there anyone on your team that you'd like to shout out to, point out their great play tonight?
Rim did actually very well, and also Pasty getting those 4K tires. He got, I think, 3 of them.
He did, yeah. I think it was about 3. Yeah, he was definitely kind of saving your guys' bacon at different times there on King's Road.
I told him at the beginning of the map, Pasty, this is your map right here, all right? And he said, no, this is our map, and he popped off. I'll give it to him.
Well, I hope that Abraxas can come back because I'm sure he had some things to ask you. But I guess we'll move on to a good question, and always a question to ask. So, Wisdom, that's going to be your opponents in this final. Anything you want them to know? Anything you want to say before that game?
I'm an iceberg. I'm going to sink the Titanic.
Oh, that's good. That's actually, I will admit, that's actually some really good, that's some good talk right there. Some pre-match talk. I've never heard that one before. Well, Abraxas still not back yet. What do you think here, Pendy? We wrap it up? All right, fair enough. Yeah, you want to play?
Let's go to the awesome the Fortnite item shop.
Okay.
If you get Fortnite, just pop up the code.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you so much. Awesome. And congratulations on your victory tonight. A hard-fought win there, but at the end of the day, it is Geometrics taking it over the Edinburgh Monarchs, punching their tickets to finals. I'm Corbeck. I've been joined here by Abraxas in the casting booth with Pendy handling our production. Thank you so much for joining us for this League Zero broadcast. More action to come almost immediately here on League Zero. A whole nother set of matches for you coming out of the expert division in just a few minutes. So do stay tuned for those, or check the Discord, get your updates on where those will be happening. But from all of us here on this broadcast, thank you for watching and have a wonderful evening. Bye.